briefly talk about commercial units. So we have two types of commercial units. We have what we call our heavy-duty commercial units, which are going to be for like your spas, resorts, gyms, those kind of things. This is the kind of unit that's going to run all day long. So it's going to start at 8 o'clock and go 8 a.m. and go to 8 p.m. or whatever that time frame may be. It's designed to run continuously throughout the day. You can size the generator at the bottom here, but what I would caution you is on a commercial generator is get the information of the size of the room, the material that's in the room, and I would recommend that you pass that information to your Mr. Steam rep and let them work with you or the contractor, because in a commercial unit there's some things that we would need to be able to ask them. That, how many rooms are going to be running off the generator? What type of controls do you need? Do you need an automatic blowdown, which pretty much they always do? Are they using, what kind of timer are they using? Different things like that, because then there's going to be other things that need to be put into place. So in some areas they require a blowdown tank, and so we need to make sure we understand that. Do they need an alarm on the unit? Are they using a digital timer, a rotary timer? Those different kinds of questions, because there are other things that need to be added to the generator to make them work. So you can size it and get the typical size of a generator. So, these rooms are pretty big, so we're going to just say this is a 9-foot by 10-foot by 8-foot. It will give us the CU750 here and the list price. But the problem now is what else do I need to make this thing work? And that's where you're going to need a little bit more expertise, probably, if you're not doing commercial units on a daily basis or frequent basis. So, and then you also have in commercial, you have what we call our day spa units. And day spa units are going to be units that are smaller, for smaller rooms, but they're also being controlled by the property or the business. So there's usually somebody sitting at a desk that's saying, okay, you're going to steam room number 1, and I've got the timer set for you for 20 minutes or whatever that may be. So the only thing that the user would have is typically in the room is going to be I'll show you, well, it's not listed on here, but it's going to be a stop button. So that if they find themselves, that's just too hot or whatever, they can just hit the emergency stop button and it'll shut the unit off. So all the other controls and everything is being controlled by somebody else somewhere. And these units are designed to run longer than the residential unit throughout the day, but they're not continuous runs. So they may come on and off 10, 12 times during a day. So that's what the spa units are for. The other thing that we have, and I don't see that it's on there. So let me just go to About Steam here, and I'll try and find the other thing here in a second. So About Steam, there's a couple of different things here. There's under brochures. This is very good information for a homeowner. Is we have 40 benefits of steam bathing. So one of the things that a lot of people ask is, I've heard about steam, I like steam, or whatever, but what are the benefits? So we put together these 40 benefits that you can go through with the client. You can hand them to them. I actually have some salespeople who have taken maybe 10 of these and printed them out and put them in a little holder on their desk with with more cards they can take, but it really gives like a good visual of the 40 different things. So this is a good little tool to print out. We also have these available, that you can hand out that come on a little card that you can hand them out. So those are good information. One of the other things I didn't do, and let me see if I can just find it real quick. If you haven't heard about, see, I've searched it so many times it comes right up. If you haven't heard about this report, this is very good information too. So if you have somebody on the fence, it's like, oh man, I don't know if I want to, make the investment in a steam shower or whatever. So this is independent of the steam industry, independent of Mr. Steam. Zillow did a report about homes that list certain things in their listing and what the sales price was versus a home that didn't have those in the listing or didn't have them in the property. And what they found is that words or things that were in the property, steam shower, professional appliances, heated floors, the house sold for 29% more than expected. So what that means is if, for simple math, if we have two homes sitting side by side, one's got a steam shower, the other one doesn't. If we list them both, one at $100,000, we're going to be able to list the other one for $129,000, and because it has the steam shower in it. So steam shower, heated floors, two of the things that Mr. Steam, or two of the things that Stover Sales does, are in that top thing right up there with professional appliances. So this is good information too for you to have to pass along to them as well, because one of the other things that people want to know sometimes is what is the return on my investment? Well, I don't know anything that we can put in the house other than these things listed here that we would get this kind of return on. So we even updated kitchen or hardwood floors didn't get anywhere close to the things that steam shower and heated floors got. So that's good information for you to be able to pass on to the customer. And they've done this study for 3 years now, and the lowest that steam shower has been, I believe, is 28%. So it's always right up there as far as the information, or as far as the top thing that you can add to a home. Let me see. The other thing we have are the video gallery. And the video gallery, what it does is it gives you lots of different information here. So little short video clips about products, how-tos, and then we have this little section called Just For. This is one I like to play sometimes just because it's fun. So I'm going to play this little video here just because it's fun. Just to show you some fun stuff there. So we have all of this information here for you to be able to use to show the client, to give them a better comfort level understanding of steam. The one thing that we know from industry research, and I unmuted you all and I'm going to ask a question here. How many of your clients who walk in the door do you think percentage-wise know about steam showers?
Maybe, I would say maybe like 15% are aware that they can get them in their house.
Okay. So what the industry has kind of come up with is that somewhere between 75 and 85% of the general population are aware of steam showers. And so they've either used them at the gym, they know someone who has it, they've used it, at a spa, they use it on a cruise ship or whatever. So they're familiar with it, the major part. But actually, the industry shows that only 2 to 4% know that they can put it in their home. So it's very, very small percentage of the population know they can put it, because what most people think when they think about a steam shower is they think about the experience they had somewhere else. Majority of the people who are familiar with steam don't realize they can put it in their house. So whose responsibility does it become to educate the community or the general public? And it becomes us as the showroom consultants, as the sales reps for Mr. Steam, is to educate people that, hey, this is here. So I have a couple of dealers who do a phenomenal job in selling Mr. Steam. I mean, just like they sell steam weekly. What they do and what the management has chosen to do is that any new construction job gets a steam shower added to the quote, even if the client didn't talk about it. So whenever they come in for their next consultation, after they kind of put everything together for them, they go through, hey, look, I added this to your bid and I want to explain to you why. They hand them that 40 benefits card. Some of them talk about that Zillow report. And then the closing rate is high. I don't know a real percentage, what it is, but what I do know is they're staying on the quote more times than not. So it's a good practice for us to educate the customer prior to, or educating them even when they don't ask about Steam. Because Steam is a great add-on sale that you can, as you saw in our example of the shower we did, it can be $5,000 to $12,000 list price that we can add on to a sale. And what you're going to find is a lot of customers already know about it. They just don't realize they can do it in their house. And so if we can help them understand that, then we can close more sales, sell more steam, make you more money, and the world's a better place. So any questions or anything anybody has as far as things they don't know about Steam or need to know about Steam or input?
Hey, you guys, I've had a couple people tell me that the ones that are super successful with selling Steam is that when they go down their checklist with their customer and they're asking them if they want, when they're talking shower, do you want body sprays, handheld? That's kind of where you just ask the question, have you guys thought about Steam? Just kind of open up that conversation when you're talking about what they're going to do in their shower application. So seriously, I wish Steam sold itself, but you really do have to talk about it because like David said, most people have no clue that they can get Steam or that it's even available for them. So it is a conversation that has to happen in the beginning stages.
A little bit more about where exactly to locate the generator. I know you had mentioned that it could go inside of a vanity, but if that's not an option, where else would be the next best place to put it so it was out of sight?
So typically, I go a lot of times on to job sites where they have questions or, they've made a mistake or, something's not working the way it needs to. I typically find in most of the homes that are doing Steam is they're located in a basement, somewhere like in a mechanical room or near the mechanical room, close to the power source. So that is a great option if you're in an area where you have a lot of basement properties and you can easily access the shower from there. But they can go in a closet. They can go in an attic as long as that attic is a controlled space from that it won't freeze, because they will freeze. And if it's there. So there's lots of options of different places it can go.
So I'm going to chime in for a second.
Okay.
So typical in the South that I see, I don't know a lot of houses that have the basements around here, but maybe they do, and I just don't see them. So oftentimes people put them in the crawl space, or they'll put them in the attic. If you put them in the attic and it's an uninsulated attic, you can cheat and build like a little wooden box that has some insulation in it just to kind of cover the generator. That I've seen that application done. But essentially what you need to do is be 30 feet in any direction of the shower, because the cable that runs, unless you're getting the wireless air tempo control, the cable is 30 feet long. So you need to be within a 30-foot radius of that shower if they decide to put it in a closet, crawl space, vanity, attic, somewhere, to be able to, for that cable to reach the generator and into the shower control. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And there is a 60-foot cable you can buy as an add-on.
If you have to go further.
Yeah, if you have to go further. But 60 feet is the max that you want to be away from it. So, but I've seen even where I was in a property not too long ago, and they actually built a bench in their master bedroom that goes into the master bathroom. Right outside the door, and the generator is inside that bench. And so it's got a cushion on top of it, a removable lid so they can service it, but it just basically made a bench inside the master because they were on a slab, and then so the first floor on a slab, no basement underneath it, and then a second floor above it. And so they didn't have any way to go above. They didn't want to put it inside a cabinet, so they just built this bench. So there's a lot of different ways that you can, put it in to find a space to put it.
But it wouldn't have to have any sort of circulation around it.
It does have a little bit, but it's mostly it doesn't need it for any kind of cooling or anything like that. The space you need around it is mainly for servicing, so that you can get into it if there is a need to service it. The other thing too, when we're talking about servicing, is Mr. Steam is one of, I think, only 2 steam manufacturers that make a unit that can be field serviced. So every component can be changed in the field other than the actual tank, but it's a stainless steel tank, and all of our generators are made from recycled steel as a point there. But you can change the heating element, you can change the control board, you can change all the components inside of it in the field, where some other manufacturers, and most of the manufacturers, you actually, if it needs an element changed or any kind of controls inside of it, you actually have to take the unit and send it back to the factory. So so you just want to have space to be able to get that cover off. If you need to be able to change the element at some point in time, that you have access to be able to do that, so they're not having to cut the plumbing off to lift it out and be able to have access. That's really the only thing you need, is just for servicing. There's no ventilation needed.
I mean, also too, Melissa, keep in mind they're connecting to that generator drain line, electrical, a steam line. So it's not gonna be like it's gonna be a completely right over the steam generator. There's gonna be, water lines and stuff coming out of that, and plumbing and electrical components. So they're gonna have a little bit of wiggle room right around it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
David?
Yes.
How loud is the generator if you're going to possibly put it in the room, like you were just mentioning?
It literally makes no noise really that you can hear. You will hear it when it fills with water. you'll just hear a slight noise of that. The noise really from a steam shower is actually in the steam shower itself. And again, it's that using a regular steam head, it's that pressure hitting the back of the steam head that makes the noise. But you're basically boiling water inside of a tank, and you don't hear that part. So you will hear the initial fill when it's filling the tank, and then as this cycle goes through, you'll hear a little bit of a sound of the water coming in, but it comes in little spurts after it's filled the initial time. And then you do hear the contactor a little bit, where the contactor tells it to heat, and then the heat goes off and comes back on. But it's not loud at all. And again, you could insulate, around whatever component you have it in, or wherever you have it placed, and eliminate some of that noise as well.